Hi everybody, and welcome to an extra episode of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit and crochet, and get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. Today is actually Thursday, January the 1st, 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. So today I want to do a little bit of a different video. I want to talk to you about what I'm bringing into 2026, left over from 25. I want to talk to you about some of my fails. This same type of video I did a year ago. And I want to talk to you about my plans for 2026, knit crochet wise, or some of my initial plans. So, if that sounds like something interesting that you're interested in hearing more about, grab a drink, hot drink, cold drink, whatever your little heart desires, and let's get yakking. So, I'll talk about my fails first. I'll talk about my fails first. So, I watched my video from a year ago to see what I had planned on doing over 2025. I had 3 or 4 works in progress that I had high hopes of finishing in 2025 that I'm still working on. Spoiler alert. 2 of my 3 whips that I'm carrying over into 2026, I talked about those a year ago. There's still works in progress. Mind you, one of them is getting very close to being finished. And I really do have high hopes of finishing that in January. So that was kind of a fail. I had hoped to have all 3 of those done last year. They were not done last year. Anyway. And I also talked about other things I wanted to do in 2025 that I have not yet done. I still have not written up that pattern and filmed the tutorial for my sort of shorty socks. It's still on my list of things I want to do. I have not sorted through and organized my yarn stash. Still haven't finished that. Still kind of hoping I do get that done. We shall see. I also planned on sorting through all my socks and giving away or deciding something about those. Still not done. And what was the other thing? Updating my Ravelry, taking pictures of all my projects to fill in all the naked boxes on my my Ravelry project pages. They're still empty. There's still little blank boxes with nothing in there. So we shall see if I get any of that done this year. I'll talk about each of those again in a little bit, so part of this might be a bit repetitive. So those are my fails from 2025 leading into 2026. At least I'm honest with myself. I always have high hopes of getting all these things done, and I don't. So my works in progress that I'm going to be carrying through into 2026, I have 3 main ones that I'm working on currently. And I'm going to be sticking to 2 of them in a monogamous fashion. So I have 3 whips. The first one, I'm going to work on that one, and probably only that one, with the exception of a pair of socks. I'm going to work on that one only until it's done. Second one, once I pick that one up again, I'm going to stay mostly monogamous with that one and get that one done. Hopefully I can get those 2 done by the end of January. We shall see. The third one's going to take a little bit longer, but I'm going to spend more time focusing on that once I get the other 2 whips out of my hair. So the whips I'm taking with me into 2026. Number 1, my Radvent cardigan. This is a pattern by Amba O'Brien. I started it in December of 2024. I started it using an advent calendar from, I think it was from Chickadee Fiber Arts. No. That's escaped me. I can't remember whose it is. Monet in the Winter. Who's the designer? Who's the dyer? And of course I don't have any of the packaging with me. Anyway, I'm getting quite close to being finished with this one. It's parked on the needles right now, and it's kind of at an awkward at an awkward point to show you. And I'm trying to do this and hang on to my needles with dear life, because if I pull this out by mistake, I will cry. So this is where my cardigan is now. And you really can't see a darn thing with the way I'm showing it to you. The ribbing around the bottom is done now. And I'll show you this hopefully a little bit better on Saturday when I do my regular podcast. But the ribbing on the bottom is done, and I have started doing the ribbing around the button band and the collar portion. So I have a little bit of that done. I still have 3 more rows to do, then I put in the buttonholes, and then there's that takes 2 rounds or 2 rows, and then there's another 6 rows of ribbing and the bind off. So I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows to go. So it's getting down to the home stretch. And then I have to find and sew on the buttons, which will take who knows how long. I do have a few ends that need weaving in. The majority of the ends where I changed colors along the sweater, I wove in the ends as I was knitting. So what I typically do on projects like this, when I'm adding in a new yarn, when I add in the new yarn, I hold the tail of the old yarn and the tail of the new yarn together, and I knit with both strands for anywhere between 10 and 15 stitches. And then I drop the old yarn and keep on going with the new yarn. And then when I come back over it on the next go around, I am able to just knit those 2 stitches as each of those 2 strands as one. It adds just the teensiest bit of bulk to it, and I'm okay with that. So once I finish blocking it, which also needs to be done, once I finish blocking it, then I snip those ends a little bit closer. I still leave about 1 centimeter. As you can tell, I use both metric and imperial interchangeably on some things. But I leave about 1 centimeter to 1/2 inch on both ends, and then that just kind of felts into the fabric over time. But until it's blocked, I'll leave the tails a little bit longer. Where I've added in the bare yarn for like starting this, when I started the sleeves, when I started and finished the ribbing and the button band, I have those ends to weave in yet, or I will have those ends to weave in. So I am honestly hoping that that project is done before January is done. It really should be. I really should be able to get it done before January is over. I was hoping to have it done before last night was over. It didn't happen. But I'm happy with my progress. That's close enough. It's only been on the needles for a little over a year. So what's another month? My other 2 works in progress are, whoops, I just bumped the, let's put that one down. The second project I want to get some work done on and finish as soon as I can. Once Radvent is done, I'm going to get back onto working on my musical shawl. So this was the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl from this past fall. And I've done the first half of clue number 3. So the second part of clue number 3 to do, and then clue number 4. So that will be my second project that I'm going to focus on. And I'm also hoping I can finish that one in January. And then I'll need to tuck in some tails, get it blocked, blah, 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 all those regular things. So I'm really hoping by the end of January I will have both of those projects done off the needles and finished. We shall see if that actually happens. My final work in progress that is going to take a little bit longer, that is my mitered square Ruana. And this is, I'm not quite at the halfway point yet. So this still has quite a bit of knitting left to be done. So I'm hoping it's finished in 2026, but I also hoped it would be finished in 2025. So that didn't happen. So let's hope that I can get that one done. Once the other two projects are done, I'm going to really focus on trying to do even a square a day on that one, just to keep making progress on it. I say it still needs a lot more squares, but we're getting somewhere. So I think I have to do a square count and see how many squares I have finished, how many more squares I'm going to need. And then once I've figured that out, I will know if I have enough of the 10-gram minis ready to go. So I still have quite a few of the row 1 minis that are ready to be added in. I think I have 20 or 30 of those left to go. Plus I have my advent calendar that I just finished opening from PK Yarns. And those were that included 24 10-gram minis. And I also have a handful of other 10-gram minis. I have a set of 4 or 5 that I picked up at a yarn show in October. And I also bought a set with, I think there was 5 or 6 little 10-gram minis. So I'm have to count up how many minis I have and how many I need and see where I'm at. I have been trying to decide how I wanted to work with my advent calendar yarn, because it was kind of a fade, or a gradient type of yarn or type of advent. So I don't want to be doing those squares like side by side in the mitered squares. So what I think I'm going to do, I had been thinking one point maybe I would do day 1 and 24, 2 and 23, and so on. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think what I might do is do one row 1 mini, then an advent, then a row 1, then an advent. So the gradient is going to be broken up. So I think that's how I'm going to be working that out. And if I don't have, I think I have more than 24 row 1 minis. If I don't, then I'll just transition into the other minis, like although I guess they're micros. I will start using those instead and dividing those across the advent ones. So I am hoping, like I say, once I have once I have my Radvent and Musical done, then my main focus is going to be on adding as many squares as I can to my my Ruana, the mitered square Ruana. So those are the whips that I'm carrying forward. Now, let's talk about my plans, my other plans for 2026. There's a couple things I know I will be working on in 2026. I am probably more than 90% sure that I will join in with the next Stephen West mystery shawl knit along. I have yet to finish one during the knit along window, and I'm fine with that. But I'm not, if that's coming again, I'm pretty darn sure that I will join that one. That's not till October, so it's a long way away. I also plan on signing up and joining up the Sock Madness competition, and that will start usually sometimes towards the end of February. So I know that is one that I will be participating in again. I love that competition. I love everything about it. So I will be doing that. I had a train of thought that got away from me. Ooh, I'm also going to continue with my stash down diaries. I am happy with my progress of how much yarn I used up this past year. I am going to do a recap video of that. I'll probably do that middle of next week. I want to give you an update on that. So I will be continuing that. Starting back, I'm going to reset to 0 and see how much yarn I can use in 2026. Another thing I'm going to start in 2026, and these two things I'm going to start, and these will kind of go together. I have quite a few skeins of 50-gram skeins of yarn from different dyers that I I want to work on this year. And what I'm going to do, the first one I didn't do it for the first one, but I'm going to pick out 11 of the 50-gram skeins of yarn. And mostly I have from Nanette Wakely yarns. I think it's Wakely. Nanette Wake. I also have some from Rising Tide Fibers. And I have, I think 4 or 5 from Hugh Loco that I bought several years ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out 11 more of those skeins of yarn. I'm going to take some white tissue paper. I'm going to wrap each one up individually, and I'm going to probably stick them up there someplace. And on the first of each month, I'm going to randomly select one of those 50-gram skeins of yarn, and I'm going to make a pair of sorta shorties with those. So I'm ready to cast on the first one. I went into my tub of yarn that has mostly my 50 grams in there. And I just kind of closed my eyes and I pointed at one. So I got one skein out, and that was one of the Hugh Loco yarns. And I think it's a one pot. So it's kind of like a random, I don't think it's a repeatable yarn. So I'm going to use bare toes, heels, and cuffs on each of those, unless it's a set with the 50 gram plus 20 gram mini. Then I will do the heels, toes, and part of the cuff in that one. So that way at the end of the year I will have made 12 pair of socks. The vanilla sorta shorty socks that I love. I have a bunch of Felici that I might start randomly grabbing one of those on the 15th of each month. I might do it that way. So that way I'll be up to 24 pair of socks. If I do one pair every 2 weeks, which is fairly reasonable for me. Plus I'll have the Sock Madness socks. So this goes towards another, I saw somebody on Instagram, and they were saying it was like hashtag 26 pair in 26 or 26 socks in 26. And I've seen two variations of it, where some are saying they're going to knit 26 pair of socks in 2026, and others are saying that they are going to knit 26 individual socks. So you would end up with 13 pair of socks at the end of the year. And I'm going to give that a try. And I'll have to look some more and see if I can find out and remember who it was that started this idea. But I think my goal is going to be to try to do 26 pair of socks in 2026 or more. If I break that, cool beans, fantastic. But the plan is to try to do 26 pair of socks in 26. I would like to do 26 pair of vanilla socks, the sort of shorty socks. But my vanilla sock knitting time is going to get a monkey wrench thrown at it during Sock Madness season and during Mystery Shawl season, West Knits Mystery Shawl season, because I just kind of focus on that and not much else. So those are my main plans for the upcoming year. Come back in a year from now. See how many of these are fails that I didn't do from this year to next year. So I do plan on trying to get my yarn organized and inventoried on Ravelry. I still need to get my socks and other projects photographed and onto my project pages. Most of them have project pages there, but I've not completed them. I still want to sort through all my socks and see which ones I want to keep. I need to sort through. I have one pair of socks. They were done with Peyton's Croy, and they're heavier. They don't really fit comfy in a pair of shoes, but they're fantastic bed socks. So I popped a hole in one of the toes. I had a rough edge on one of my big toes in the toenail, and I managed to snip a thread with my toenail, one of my little talons. It just had a rough edge on it. They're not talons, don't worry. So those ones, I think I'll probably just make myself more. I have a few skeins of the Peyton's Croy that I can use to make more socks. I just don't know where the skeins of yarn are. They're in one of the tubs. So that pair of socks have to be retired, and I'm not going to go to I probably will not go to the effort to fix them and to patch them. I honestly don't think I've got the gumption to bother with that. I've got tons of wear out of them. I got tons of satisfaction out of knitting them, and I've got a lot of pleasure out of wearing them, and I can let them go. They have done their job. They've given me pleasure and satisfaction doubly. So they deserve to be retired and sent on to they're gone. So this video might have been a little bit discombobulated. I didn't have show notes of any sort written down. I just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, deciding what to say on this video. So anyway, so I hope everyone has I hope they had a good 2025, and I hope you have a fantastic 2026 where you get lots of crafting, lots of knitting and crocheting done, and that you just have the best year ever. I will be continuing to post my weekly podcasts showing you my progress on different projects week by week. And I'll probably have a few random things thrown in during the year. I probably will do Vlogmas again. I will probably do Vlogtober again. I'm hoping to do a bit of video during my March break. Even though I'm not working right now, I still will have a break in March, or hubby and I are taking a break. We've rented a cabin for the Monday through Friday. So I'll probably try to film some stuff there, although I don't think it has Wi-Fi access at the cabin. So I might not be able to post every day. That's in the future. Future Karen will worry about that. I don't have to worry about that till March. And yeah, that's the plans. I'm hoping to get to do more knitting on trains videos. I haven't done one for a year. We haven't gone anywhere on a train or done anything on a train for almost a year. This is life. Anyway, so if you've stuck it through this long, thank you. If you have not yet subscribed or liked the video, commented, any of that good stuff, please do. It really does help my little teeny tiny channel. And I will see you guys again on Saturday. I'll film a regular episode on Saturday. So you'll get to see Radvent in a little more detail, and you'll get to see how far I've got on my new pair of socks that I'm going to be casting on while I'm editing this. So on that note, I shall let you go, and I will see you again very soon. Happy New Year, everybody.